Hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. Hi, Darla. Michael, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Eric, what's going on? Rob, how's it going? Happy Thursday, everybody. Michael, thanks. Surgery went well. Yep. Jason, how's it going? Good to see you. My leg is very bruised, though. If anyone cares, but yeah, everything went well. I start PT next week, which is going to be brutal, but so it goes. So it goes. All right, we're gonna give it a few minutes. People are coming in. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy November. Steve, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Oops. That was kind of loud. Thanks, Darla. I know. Hope you're doing well too. Got my actual legs back there. One just fell down. Got my medicine. Little Woodford Reserve tonight. Eric, my dip game is on point because before this ACL one, 10 weeks ago, I had my meniscus repaired. Happy Couch Smoke Sessions. I wonder who that is. Let me guess. I wonder who that is. Mike, is that you? Is this your YouTube channel? I skirted the COVID for 3 years and now I have it. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. Ed, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. Gonna go maybe 6, 7 past the hour, then we'll get started. Hi, Sandra. Good to see you. If Darla, I don't know if Hugh is here, but tell Hugh I texted him back. Wearing my mask for the chat. Nice. Yeah, Darla, if Hugh's not here, can you just let him know I text him back about his shares? He was missing a couple thousand in there. So I let Carson know and he'll get it fixed up tomorrow. All right, all right. Give a few more minutes here, then we're gonna get started. Awesome, cool. Hi, Hugh. Good to see you. Okay, let's get started, everybody. So here is how today is going to go. Let me know, Andre, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. So a couple AMAs ago, I started doing some slide presentations just to kind of keep. Demetrius, how's it going, man? Good to see you. I started to do some slide presentations, like a deck, to help structure these conversations a little bit more so we can stay on topic and make sure things are getting addressed. Like questions that come up during the week, I want to make sure that we address live here. Let me know if you guys like this format. I kind of like it. I think it helps things go along. But for those that have been here for the last 2-3 AMAs, I've been doing these decks. So let me know if you like them. If not, make some suggestions on maybe what a better format would be. But yeah, anyways, all right, let's get started, everybody. So as what we've been doing, we've been going kind of over common questions quite a bit, and And so I want to keep that going for the top of the hour today. Kyle says Dogecoin pump didn't help my position. Yeah, neither it didn't help my overall portfolio. But Michael, I know you've been bullish on Dogecoin since like day one. Um, but yeah, so let's go ahead and go through some of the common questions of the week. This wasn't necessarily a question. The swag order wasn't a question this week, but it I just want to give an announcement on it. So I put the order in for everyone that filled out the swag order form over the last couple weeks. I will let you know when I get confirmation on like a delivery date for those. Should be here in a couple days on confirmation for delivery. If you did not fill out the swag form that we've been passing around for the last 2-3 weeks, next AMA next Thursday, I'll do another order form for those that missed out, and then we can just get that on the reorder in a couple weeks. But the swag has been entered in, and you guys should start getting it pretty quick. So I also threw out, should we put a QR code on the shirt? This first one I didn't, just because I want to make sure everything's buttoned up before we go like super hard on marketing. Meaning buttoned up website, our apps change to People Finance, WeFund are up and live, just to make sure that we have uniformity when it comes to our brand and what we're trying to put out there. So we'll have another design for the next swag order. And so that means, anybody that got in on this one, you can get on the next one also. It's just going to be a slightly different design, and then the QR code will be on that as well. But I wanted to make sure that we're putting out a cohesive brand across all of our stuff, and we're working hard on doing that as we get closer and closer to launching the credit union and reformatting and redesigning the app as we get closer to the new year. Okay, so swag is coming, and I'll let you guys know the confirmation on when the delivery will be next week. Okay, so someone asked, I think it was Mark. Mark, I don't know if you're on the call tonight or not, but asked a couple questions in Discord that I wanted to address. I couldn't address them last week because I had my ACL reconstructed, and so I was kind of out of it all week last week. As you can see, my crutches or one of my crutches is back there. But I wanted to address a couple questions. And so a couple weeks ago, when I presented that we're moving forward on starting a credit union, and this has been, as you guys know, kind of a long-standing kind of dream of ours, is like, how do we cut out all the partners, right? All the tech partners and whatnot, and kind of do our own financial institution. And we kind of settled on a credit union because it's member owned. So it's like a legal DAO, essentially. It's kind of how I like to call credit unions. Member owned, community owned, members, one membership, one vote. Members vote on a voluntary board of directors that actually run the credit union. And so it just fits perfectly with what we're trying to build. But then we don't have to rely on like Bancorp, BBVA, or Evolve Bank and Trust as our banking partner. We are actually just going to be our own banking partner, which is pretty rad. As such, we can create products and services that other banks can create. And so one of those are lines of credit. So HELOCs, leverage portfolio lines, whatever types of lines of credits that we want to do, having a credit union allows us to do that. And so one of those is a 0% line of credit against a savings account. And so what we want to roll out next year is a high yield savings account or a high yield CD, where our members put money into the federally insured CD or savings account, lock it up for a bit so it can grow. But then how do I have liquidity? How do I have access to that? And instead of charging people interest to access their own money, I think it'd be really cool if we gave a product away that allowed people to access their own money for free. But Mark, I believe it was Mark, I can't remember off the top of my head, asked, could this be a essentially a line of credit or portfolio loan against our current stock positions, our current stock holdings? And I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. And to answer this question, really anything is possible. It's just how do we structure that product? Because those do exist, margin loans exist. And so because we have the data from our trading app, like we can see from a kind of overview of like what positions and liquidity is needed for that to be leveraged against the portfolio. I don't see why not, but I don't want to commit to having a portfolio loan against position, especially because if it's already leveraged, like M1 does this, right? Every TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, you can take money out against a portfolio. It just depends on where we are in the life cycle of what we're trying to build. So like eventually, because we're a credit union, investments can flow through the credit union. And so we don't need Alpaca or any other broker dealer partner. We can get those licenses through the credit union, but it's where in the stack does that come? And so we'll have to flush it out. But I think it's a good idea that Mark brought up about like maybe not in the savings account, but can we get a line of credit against our stock positions? I think that'd be really awesome. I would love to do that. I just don't know when we would be able to roll out a product like that. And it certainly wouldn't be in the immediate future because there's other products that I think we need to get to market a little bit faster. Someone else asked about like additional functionality, drip investments, recurring investments. When will those come out? When will a final version 3 of the app come out? And so the version 3, I guess it'd be version 2, but I'm going to call it a version 3 because it's going to have the banking in it. So it's going to look completely different than anything that we have at the moment. And so the version 3 of the app will have banking included in it. And a couple weeks ago, I shared what those screens are starting to shape up to be. And on the next AMA, we can go through kind of some more of those screens. Centralized around portfolio, and then you can drill into your checking, your savings accounts, student loans, home loans, and whatnot, get into your investments, day trade if you want, all centralized around the app. So those functionalities will come out in the version 3 of the platform. There's steps that we have to take in order to get there first. And so one of those steps is becoming a credit union. And so I'm going to jump into the credit union stuff here in a second. But then one last question was, we have 13,000 people on the wait list. Why doesn't everybody watch our videos, et cetera? For one, I don't know. Like why 3,000 people don't jump onto our videos. I do know that when I text out to everybody, I can see the metrics of who opens and who responds. And so I have 1,200 people on the texting app that you guys get our text messages from. That's me also. I don't know if maybe I think most of you know that's actually me on the other end. There's no customer service person there that's doing that. So of those 1,300, we have about 72%, 75% like open read rate. So I can see those. And then we have like a 1% response rate. Right. And so like, again, everyone kind of knows at least high level what's going on, but you can think about like, I think I got 250 emails today. So things just gets lost in noise. And so, as we get more marketing and stuff going through, it's just more touch points that we need to do throughout the week. And so I'm cognizant of that we need to get more touch points out there just for the sake of our community at whole. Working on that. Okay. So when is a credit union coming? So let's talk about that with this slide as a backdrop. And so I have good news. On November 9th, I'm talking with a lady that sits on the board of several credit unions. She has a consulting company that is specifically geared towards compliance within credit unions specifically. And so she has dozens of credit unions as clients that they run their entire compliance team, which is awesome because we would not have to bring that in-house. So I talked to her on the 9th. She has built several credit unions from scratch. She's also repurposed existing credit union credit union like licenses for other credit union purposes. And so when I first briefly talked with her about a week ago, I said, "Hey, I'm CEO of a fintech platform called People Finance, and we want to start a credit union. Can you help kind of guide through this?" And she wrote back and said, "Yes." And again, like starting a credit union from scratch, just to let everybody know, only takes about 140 days. And so when you compare that to an actual bank, this is interesting. Eric, I'll grab your question here in a second. So when comparing a credit union to a bank, yeah, go ahead, ground roof, Mark, that might be you. For those that want to start a bank, it takes about 2 years, and you need between 20 and 50 million dollars to get a federal charter. And that's if the licensing committee actually gives the charter away. So we could waste 2 years, 20 to 50 million dollars and not have a banking charter. To start a credit union, this is interesting. It takes between $25,000 and $150,000, and 140 days, 120 to 150 days. A lot better when we can offer the same services as a chartered bank. And so when looking at that, that's a nice timeline. But if we repurpose a credit union that has shut down and the license is still valid, it only takes about 45 to 60 days. And so this lady that I'm talking to on November 9th has extensive experience in repurposing existing credit unions for a new purpose, which is what we would be going after. And so the hope is on the short end that we will have the credit union license in hand by the end of the year, second, third week of December into the first week of January. On the long end, if we decide to actually start one from scratch completely, then it would be by the end of Q1, and then banking would be available to all of us. And so on November 9th, if you guys want to put this in your calendar or just have a footnote on it, is when I'm actually talking with her. And then I'll be able to have kind of a clear timeline for everybody on when the credit union will actually be rolled out. Secondly, I'm talking with in the second week of November with a law firm called Callahan and Associates. And the Callahan and Associates, if you go to their websites, callahan.com, they have over 600 credit unions that are clients of theirs. So they actually run creditunions.com as well. If you guys want to read some literature on credit unions, the benefits of credit unions, and why they're important for democratization of finance. But they run creditunions.com, and I'm talking with them to be able to set this up for us as well. So a lot of conversations coming down the line in regards to that, which then I want to jump into why that's important. So when building a software company, and for valuation and eventual exit, whether it's through a sale or through going public, what is evaluated is what's called platform risk. And so in my last company called Better Growth, what we would do is we would build revenue teams for software companies. And so my brother and I owned the company, who started it, grew to 45 employees in Portland, Oregon. And so kind of how the life cycle of a startup goes is you have idea, you raise a little bit of money, you go build out the MVP, minimum viable product. And that's usually by piecing things together, piecing partners together through APIs. And so like what we've done is we built a UI UX ETA to build out app for banking portion. Darla, I'll answer that here in a sec after I go through this real quick. So you build an MVP, you use partners, connect their APIs so that you have kind of a workable product. The problem is there's platform risk. And what platform risk is you have the chance that your partner, Alpaca, we'll just use it as an example, goes out of business or changes their model and doesn't allow for fintechs to trade now, or whatever the case may be, and they shut out the platform. What that would do for us is now we have to go find a new vendor for trading, or we have, let's say, the NASDAQ that feeds us our data. If they decide to not feed data to startups anymore, then we have to go find data somewhere else. So that's called platform risk. And so eventually what we want to do is bring stuff in-house. And then so if we talk about banking, for example, like we would have the UI UX for the checking accounts. We would use a business as a service provider called Solid that has the banking infrastructure, and Solid plugs into Evolve Bank and Trust, who's the banking partner. So now we have two people in this pipeline that we have platform risk exposure to. So Solid could go out of business. Maybe they don't raise a Series C for 500 million. They can't keep the doors open. Or Evolve Bank and Trust decides, to go a different direction and not allow fintechs to bank with them anymore. Now we have no banking solution, so it's gone. So what we want to do is we want to plug that up. The best way to do that is becoming a financial institution. And so then what has to be decided is speed to market. Andre, I see you have questions. Please answer the question, or ask the question instead of question marks. So then you have speed to market. To get a federally chartered bank, it's 2 years, let's say. To become a broker dealer, it's 18 months. To become a credit union, it's max, let's say 6 months, 4 to 6 months from starting from scratch. And then we have to evaluate where we can meet our goals, right? So a credit union allows us to have checking and savings accounts, federally insured. It allows us to offer student loan refinancing, which is a huge thing that we want to tackle as a community, giving the lowest rates, even maybe under the Fed fund rate. Hold on. I think, Andre, you're not alone. Guys, let Andre know he's not alone here. So under the Fed fund rate, that being a financial institution allows us to do that. We can write home mortgages, car loans, but then we can also offer investment products such as stock trading, crypto trading, IRAs, 401ks as a financial institution. And so that is what determines kind of like the path that we're going on. What I really do like about credit unions, I know we've talked about this before, is the membership aspect of it. And so everybody, as I stated at the top of the hour, member gets a vote, members are paid dividends, and the dividends come in the form of lower rates on loan products, higher interest on savings accounts, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's a unique situation for People Finance, the fintech platform, to be in, because we would be the fintech, kind of what we are now in the tech stack. The fintech right now would be fintech plugs into Alpaca. Now it's fintech plugs into the People's Credit Union. Two standalone entities. We have a nonprofit over here, the People's Credit Union, and the fintech over here, which is People Finance. Okay, so when I know that because we only speak once a week, and sometimes it goes a couple weeks where we don't speak, it may seem, and Mark, this may be where you're yes, sorry, it was logged in. I can't paste the comment that long. Yeah, so I think this is where Mark's questions are, is like, we have products that necessarily aren't built out yet. We have crypto, we have trading, we have stock trading. And so when thinking about this, and mind you, I spend 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day on this. So when planning this, like, there's a few things that I'm looking at from a high level. We have market conditions, which everyone just got hosed on the stock market and the crypto market. And so trading volume has gone down 60%. But then our partners tighten the strings, right? It's like now margin loans, if you guys didn't notice, in Robinhood or Webull are now 9%, which means our margin loans have gone up 7-8% because we can't control it. Alpaca controls it. And so we can control it as our own institution. So that has squeezed kind of some of the products that we want to roll out. And then you have changing market conditions. Like when we first launched, crypto was awesome. Now it's like everyone pulled out of crypto, right? And so when we think about how we insulate ourselves and create a moat around the company moving forward, the credit union, Kale, what's up, bro? It's been so long since I've seen you come over. So when thinking about how we roll out products and services, there is a lot of thought that goes into how we take the company and the direction of the company. And so it's just it's hard to communicate that at times to thousands of people. And so, but I'm trying to do better to make sure that everyone stays in the know, and these Thursday calls should be helping with that. Okay, so let me get, there's quite a few questions here. 14,000. Okay. So I think this is Mark. So let's go through this. 14,000 on waitlist. You said they don't use the app because the app lacks features. When will you want to build those features? The next shiny thing came along already, credit union. Okay, so let me so let me address this first. So when we launched Stonks Trading, we immediately launched a wait list, right? And so within the first, I don't know, week, we had 5,000-6,000 people on the wait list. A majority of those, and this is all speculation, right? But a lot of those people were just pissed at Robinhood. Like, they got shut out, they got hosed by the stonk craze, and they saw an ad that said, we're building a company for the people. I will say probably every day, at least every day that I text out or send an email, I get at least 5 to 10 responses like, who is this? And so there is a level of people that saw something and signed up. I just have there's no way for me to know who's actually active on that wait list. And then there'll be people that will message me out of the blue and be like, hey, I've been following along for 2 years. Great to see the progress, or or whatnot, that I've never even heard from. So when thinking about a wait list, there's kind of like the front end initial burst from when we were running ads to think, people trickle off and whatnot. That's why at the top of the hour I said, I text 2,000, 1,500, 1,200 people a couple times a week, and I only get 15 responses. So there's no way for me to know the actual conversion on the wait list. I just know that we have had 14,000 people actively opt in to what we're doing. And then whether they go through the funnel and convert, that's another story. And so that's why when we build CAC models, so customer acquisition cost models, we don't build it off a wait list. We build it on activations. And so to build a 14,000 person wait list, we spend about $5,000-6,000 essentially to get 1,000 activations. And so that's where the CAC number is actually built out. So anyways, that's kind of just nerdy talk, I guess. But yeah, so there's just speculation. So I know there's several people that want an Android app. There's several people that want it to feel and look like Robinhood. There's several people that, want every bell and whistle. We just can't do it right now. Robinhood raised $100 million to build out what they did. And so we're chugging along to make sure we keep the VCs away for as long as possible so that we can continue to be remained user owned. So when will you want to build out these features? No, the engineers have not stopped, by the way, Mark. But okay, so when will we want to build out these features? So I don't want to build these features out until we have until we de-risk our platform risk. Meaning I want to bring everything in-house so that we don't have to change providers or continue to pay outside vendors what we could pay an engineer in-house to build out that product for us. And so, but then having a financial institution allows us to build out more features that we can't right now. So for example, people have been asking, I asked myself, from the beginning, when can we have margin loans? Well, we're not allowed to do margin loans unless we're a broker dealer or financial institution. And so we have to do something like that. Why can't we cut out payment for order flow? Why can't we benefit from payment for order flow? Well, we can't because we're not a broker dealer. But if we were a financial institution, we could. We could tap into payment for order flow and then give that back to our users or our members. And so having the credit union as the foundation is how we're going to be able to accomplish the features that we really want to see that what Robinhood and Webull and Public.com have. So the next shiny thing that comes along, credit union. This is actually one of the first ideas that we had about 2 years ago. And we threw out the idea of launching a credit union at the beginning. In hindsight, we should have, because it would have funded everything that we wanted to do. But we're trying to move super fast to get something to market. That kind of went to the side. But the credit union was actually the first, probably 2 or 3 things that we wanted to do a year and a half ago. So it's not necessarily the next shiny thing. Is where does it fit into the rollout plan? Is more. Is more the better way to ask it, or I guess a better way to answer it. When we launched, we were in a bull market, right? And so we wanted to get stock trading out. We wanted to get crypto trading out. And so because we were in a bull market, now that we're entering into a recession, well, why build out those products when we can actually launch the credit union in a recession? Like, for example, Venmo was launched in the 2008 recession, which is kind of interesting because it was a peer-to-peer, marketplace for sending money. But they launched in the recession. And so I think it's interesting that if we can get financial products out that we actually own, insulate us as other companies are shutting down because money's drying up, then I think we could build ourselves a very, very nice moat coming out of a recession. So I hope that answered that question. Right, man, things got hella crazy. Almost died. All kinds of nonsense. Kale, I'm happy to see you back, my brother. I agree. You should control the process and not just UI for. Yeah, exactly. So this is a good point, Mark, that you make here also. So if we rely on partners, right? Alpaca, Evolve Bank and Trust, like what we're doing is we're building a UI and spending money to get them customers when we want to retain all that. And so, for example, if all 1,000 of our people right now trading, it ticks up every day. So closer to 1,100. If all those people were banking with us, right, like checking accounts, savings accounts, and we can write some loans, we'd be doing several $100,000 a year in revenue just off of that. Or if we can control the process for trading, we would be making several more dollars than we are now, but Alpaca is making all that money, right? Or Evolve Bank and Trust would be making all that money. And so in order to build our revenue and again, create that economic moat around our business, building products that benefit us is a better route to go. You're addressing it. Thank you. Okay, awesome. I finally see my shares on iOS using a small font. Oh yes, this was another thing also. I'm glad to hear that, Darla. Kale says something that we always agree with. I think I answered that. When did you decide to hold on features and start working on the credit union instead? So again, it's not holding on features, and I think I did it. I think I did maybe answer this already, but I'm just seeing this question now. It's not holding on features. It's knowing that if we build it out now, we're gonna have to rebuild it again when we have the credit union, because it won't map up to an actual financial institution because we're building it for Alpaca. And so when I started circulating the around maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, I was kind of laying down thinking a lot because I had a couple surgeries back to back. So when thinking about, we're going into a recession and stocks and crypto for a lot of people have taken a back seat. Not us specifically, but for a lot of people have taken a back seat. Inflation is insane. And so discretionary YOLOing has gone away for now. Makes it things like this is a good time to rethink how we build things out. And so it's not pausing features or holding features. It's we need that credit union so that we can build the features that match up with that. So that's the thinking at least behind it. If you would have talked about this before past raises, I would have put more money in. Just saying. Yeah, and I guess about what the credit union specifically. Yeah, I mean like that. Again, we adjust to market conditions until we hit a fine point, right? And so over my career as a consultant, because I had a consulting company in Portland, it's pretty common for software companies to pivot. Andreessen Horowitz talks about most software companies pivot 7 to 8 times before they actually land on the execution side of things. So we've pivoted twice, and we're done pivoting. And so now, because we have our kind of our North Star with the credit union, that was the missing piece, right? And so, and so I bring up my consulting because over the last 7-8 years, I've consulted about 85 software companies of all shapes and sizes, and they have pivoted 7 to 10 times, right? And they've raised a lot of money from venture capitalists. And so knowing that we're not raising money from VCs, being very, very strategic on how we execute, that's limited our pivots. And then now we have our North Star as a credit union as a base, a bank that is owned by the people, which is a part of our ethos, a software company that is owned by the people, that is influenced by the member-owned credit union. Now we can actually go do the products and the services that we want to do in the real world, and make a lot of money from it. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Adjusting the market conditions. Yes, we always have to be doing that. At the time, you were just a UI and didn't talk much about owning the stack. Yeah. Well, because again, the market conditions have changed. We could, just be a part of the UI in the moment, and then seeing all the platform risk coming out, and then with going into a bear market, it's now a good time to switch that. Done pivoting for now. I like your tongue in cheek, Mark. This is great. Yeah, and so this is the thing is, we still really haven't pivoted. It's just how we execute on it. And that it's going to get finer and finer as we go, but we're never going to be done evolving. And I think that's a better answer from me is we're not done evolving at the moment, but it's how we go about executing. And credit unions, they serve a great purpose, especially for what we're wanting to do. And I'll use the credit union for several items. Yeah. So, well, I already told my wife, like, let's hold off on buying another car until we have the credit union so that we can do it through there. And so anyways, yeah, I'm going to be a user. Of course, I'm a user of our app now. But I'll be a user of our credit union as well. And then we'll have our first board of directors voted in, once we get the license, and that's just us. That's the members of the credit union that vote on that. And so I think it's pretty rad. What is a realistic time frame? 6 months, 12 months? I might have missed that at the beginning. You may have, but I will actually walk through this again because we have several people that have hopped on. So the credit union, if we started it from scratch, would take about 120 to 160 days starting it from scratch. On November 9th, I'm talking with a woman who owns a compliance consulting company in Washington State that has built several credit unions from scratch and has repurposed credit union licenses as well. And if we repurpose a credit union license, it takes between 45 and 60 days, roughly. And so on the low end, on the fast tracked end, we could have that license in hand 45 days from November 9th is when I'm talking to her. She'll be able to give us the process and how to go through setting it up. So 45 days from November 9th on the very quickest end, all the way up to 160 days, depending on what the better route for us is. And so, 3 to 6 months, the license should be ours. And then we're building it out right now so that, we're getting like the code stack ready and stuff right now so that when the time comes that we can open up the checking accounts and loan products, that the UI is already ready, and then we just map it to a backend infrastructure that's being built currently to be able to roll it out faster from there. So that's what I would say. I'm down to switch credit unions, but how would I get large sums of cash if we don't have any branches locally? Fantastic question, Kyle. This is this is something I've been working through, and you guys should see my notebooks because there's some crazy drawings in there. But there's a few things that we can do initially, and then things I want to roll out, kind of brainchild ideas. So here's the spew. Credit unions have a unique partnership with other credit unions, and so we would join probably a national network to where you could go into any credit union and deposit and take out money. And so there's a specific network of credit unions that allow for that, and they're in every single state. So that'll probably be the quickest way that we can roll that out. But over time, I do plan on having kind of like just kiosks everywhere, not ATMs necessarily, but cooler Elon Musk version kiosks for our People Credit Union as well. And that's where, deposits and withdrawals can be made. The technology exists, the kiosks exist, it's just implementation. And so first we'll have the network of credit unions, and then the credit union will take care of the fees. And so there'll be no fees for that leisure. It'll be absorbed into the credit union. And then over time, opening up kiosks across the country that would allow for that kind of stuff. Will any of the OG members be on the board? I would hope so, but that's not up to me. Which again, this is the greatest thing about a credit union is I can't make those decisions. That is open to the vote of the members, and so I get one vote just like everybody gets one vote. And so I would hope so, because when we launch it, it's going to be the OGs that probably get to do it first, anyways, and then we'll have the elections for that. And so, but yeah, I would like to, but I can't promise that because I actually don't control that. Will this benefit either StockSide or CryptoCoin? Yeah, so this is actually interesting. I was talking to a banker yesterday, and there could be some unique crypto plays that we have here as well. And so what's kind of interesting is, so if you guys read up on some literature on creditunions.com, there's quite a bit of talk about how credit unions actually can offer crypto accounts. Because they're a bank, just like JP Morgan can offer a crypto account if they got the right license for it. And so that's going to be an interesting play. It's nothing that I want to commit to like immediately on the like opening up a crypto checking account or Bitcoin checking account at the credit union, but I think it's something that we can pioneer within this space. But I can't have a timeline on that. But it is something that allows us with that federal credit union charter. It would allow us to be able to do. So I think it's pretty interesting. Okay, let's see. I think I missed someone's question. Okay, here we go. I make these AMAs about 1% of the time with less than 30 people here today, but an email list of 14,000 or at least emails to all the investors that I think is more than 30. Yeah, so I mean, if you make it 1% of the time, there's some people that make it 10% of the time. There's some people that make it less than 1% of the time. And we've been doing this for a year. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's, those funnel metrics actually, add up in a funnel metric category, at least. You had said during the last chat that you were going to discuss the new value of the crypto coin during this chat. Is there an update on that info? So I was hoping to have an update on it on this one. The valuation of that crypto coin is going to be determined on my conversation with the credit union consultant, because then I can wrap it up into everything. And so I was hoping to have the conversation last week, but she wasn't available, and now she's in Washington D.C. like lobbying for credit unions. And so I can't talk to her until the 9th, and then I'll be able to wrap it up into the whole plan. So that's at least what I have right now, because I don't want to make any predictions and then it has to change because of the credit union and we have to reformat it again. So I just want to wait till we have that conversation. Can we get a better way to communicate to them all? Maybe a recap to email. Yeah. So we do send out emails, and the email list that Carson sends out an email once a week, and that list has 10,000 plus. And so again, it's hard for someone like me. I get 300 to 400 emails a day, so I don't see every email that comes in. And so I can imagine, probably 30 people on this call, between the 30 of us, we probably get 30,000 emails a day, 15,000 emails a day. And so, it does get buried. We could communicate more. I am cognizant of that. We can definitely do more touch points during the week. But it is something that we are actively working on for sure. I just realized my face wasn't on this whole time. So sorry, you guys had to look at the screen the whole time. No, Kyle, no. So, I see what you're saying. See, I don't know. Like, it's just an idea that I had. Another thing that another kind of wacky thing that I had was, mall space is becoming super cheap because Amazon is taking over the world. So I thought it'd be cool to have kind of like a Apple Store feel to our credit union. And so, like, you go in, person with an iPad, that helps you get your money out and stuff. So I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be, cutting edge. A kiosk would be interesting. That's why I didn't say ATM, because I envision it a little bit different than an ATM. But technically, you still could get robbed, coming out of a bank too. So, also carrying around $10,000 in cash, that's pretty badass, man. I will be on the board. I ask questions. Vote for Mark. Mark would be a good person on the board for sure. And Hugh also would be a fantastic person on the board. And the thing is, we can have a big board, so it doesn't have to be like 10 people. And so, again, I don't want to do this alone. That's never the intention. So, anyways, yeah, start lobbying now, everybody. Okay, I'll vote for Hugh as long as I get your vote back. Jesus, okay. You guys are crazy. Only missed one AMA because of ER. Yep, that's true. He's been on everyone. Jeez, you guys are literally lobbying each other. You guys are awesome. All right. Well, let's do more of these, guys. I'm glad we're back on our Thursdays, minus last week because I had surgery. You guys probably did not want me to talk. Apple stores suck. They're always overcrowded. Well, we can fix that. I don't think we're going to have an overcrowded credit union. It's overcrowded because there's so many laptops in there. But make finance great again. I agree with that. Throw both my names in. You guys are crazy. Don't pick me either. Kyle says don't pick me. Don't pick me either. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be a wrap. Let's talk again next Thursday. Again, if you need anything, please shoot me a text, shoot me an email. And I really appreciate these. Appreciate all the questions today. Also, I do feel like sometimes there's no questions. I have to ramble for a bit and get on a little preaching tangent. But I really did appreciate the interaction this week. What I will do, and this is on Mark's behest as well, is recap this either in like spliced up portions of our conversation here tonight, or in an email just recapping kind of what we've gone over, and send it out to everybody. But really do appreciate all of you guys. We're gonna keep plugging away. This credit union is going to be revolutionary for how we roll out a neobank in the fintech world. And I'm really excited to have you guys along for the journey of this. But anyways, have a great night. Fantastic weekend, everybody. Let me know if you need anything, and we will talk soon. Peace out, everyone.